In the desolate death desert, terrifying scenes unfolded one after another. This place was, after all, a forbidden zone for humans and extremely hostile to them. At this time, amidst the boundless desert sands, two figures gradually appeared, one following the other. Mu Yingying, why are you doing this? Little Yi stepped in front of Mu Yingying, blocking her path and gently persuading. Although Little Yi had to admit that earlier incidents were mainly his brother's fault that wronged Mu Yingying, matters of the heart are never straightforward. Why am I doing this? I devoted myself to Xiaoyan, only for him to tell me that he has a family? He couldn't say it earlier or later, but chose this exact moment? Isn't it ridiculous? Blocked by Little Yi, Mu Yingying spoke to herself in a daze, deeply wounded by Xiaoyan's recent revelation that she is my wife. I know my brother wronged you, but he will help you bring back Senior Yin Qi as compensation, Little Yi said. That won't be necessary. You can tell Xiaoyan for me. From now on, Mu Yingying has nothing to do with Xiaoyan. I will handle my brother's affairs on my own. I don't need his goodwill. After saying this, Mu Yingying's chest heaved with emotion, clearly in deep pain as she spoke. With a swift motion, she quickly left Little Yi behind. Brother, I can't accept this. Xiaoyan was the first human I ever liked. But since he already has a family, I can't destroy a human family, or I'd be seen as unfaithful. But I'm really hurting. Xiaoyan is so wonderful. I can't accept it. My heart hurts so much. After leaving Little Yi, Mu Yingying found herself in a deserted area where she sat on a rock, murmuring and sobbing, without anyone to lean on or help her. Unbeknownst to Mu Yingying, she had wandered to the edge of the desolate death desert, close to the realm of the Xinling royalty. Who are you? Why have you entered the territory of my Medusa clan? A graceful figure suddenly entered Mu Yingying's view amidst her crying. Why should you care? Mu Yingying shot back without even looking up. But as soon as she spoke, Mu Yingying sensed something was amiss and quickly looked up. Standing before her was a woman clad in silk, exuding an alluring aura, with her slender waist and graceful figure that made Mu Yingying feel jealous. Most importantly, the woman possessed a subtle power of the 10 colors swirling around her, making Mu Yingying feel like she was facing a formidable opponent. Who are you? The approaching figure prompted Mu Yingying to compose herself and suppress her vulnerability, knowing she had no one to rely on and recalling threats she had heard of from ill-intentioned humans seeking to devour their sacred flame. I am the new queen of the Medusa clan. And you are? A mere early 7-star Do-D dares to venture into the desolate death desert? Are you courting death? Said the 10-colored woman softly. This 10-colored woman was none other than Kailin. Kailin had initially set out to rescue Xiaoyan in Blood River Town, but got delayed by the Xinling royalty along the way. Now that Xiaoyan was out of danger, she simply returned. Having just arrived, she happened upon Mu Yingying. With her perfect 1-star Do-Xian prowess, Kailin easily detected traces of Xiaoyan on Mu Yingying, sparking her interest in conversation. Medusa Queen? Mu Yingying, moments ago consumed by grief, was stunned as if thunder had struck her ears upon hearing this name. So, she's the wife Xiaoyan spoke of? Perfect 1-star Do-Xian strength. But then, so what? After Kailin introduced herself, a near-oceanic power surged from Mu Yingying's body, enveloping everything in a radiant azure glow. Evidently, Mu Yingying tapped into the spirit of the sacred flame once again. Sacred flame power? Late 1-star Do-Xian? Kailin remarked, perceiving the essence of the sacred flame in the air. Kailin was straightforward about her identity because she knew Mu Yingying was someone close to Xiaoyan. Yet, she didn't expect Mu Yingying to suddenly attack, provoking Kailin's ire. Let me show you today. As the power of the azure Mu Yingying surged, she directed her words at Kailin. As soon as she finished speaking, brilliant blue flames swept forth, launching a powerful attack on Kailin. Wait, aren't you from the same sect as Xiaoyan? Why? Kailin began to explain, but was forced into a defensive stance by Mu Yingying's relentless attack. Don't mention Xiaoyan to me. Perish. At the mention of Xiaoyan, the previously composed Mu Yingying flew into a rage. If that's the case, it's not up to you. Seeing her peaceful words had no effect, Kai Lin gathered the power of the 10 colors to counterattack Mu Yingying. Yet, Kai Lin suspected there was a connection between this woman and Xiao Yan. Despite the 10-colored heaven swallowing python's strength, its cold-blooded nature made it fear fire, especially a flame of the sacred flames level. The two were locked in a stalemate. The commotion not far from the Xinling royal family, Yan Qi's figure slowly appeared, evidently sensing the battle. Xiao Yan and the others were too far to notice. My king, to the north of Xinling City, on the edge of the desolate death desert, there are fluctuations of sacred flame power, and the power of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python. The sacred flame fluctuation seems somewhat like Mu Yingying's, Xinsong said softly beside him. The moment has finally come. Yan Qi, Xinsong, let's go. The Xinling king smirked maliciously and beckoned the two figures beside him towards the source of the disturbance. He knew that to devour the sacred flame, he needed to weaken it using the blood power of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python. This opportunity was too good to pass up. Currently, Yan Qi's power had reached late 1-star Docian, while the Xinling king had reached perfect 1-star Docian. As for Xinsong, who resembled a puppet, his power was even more daunting. Bastard! Are you out of your mind? Kai Lin shouted urgently during the fight with Mu Yingying. She wasn't afraid of Mu Yingying, but knew little about her background, only that she was in Xiao Yan's sect, meaning she couldn't attack too harshly. But Kai Lin didn't expect that. Despite Mu Yingying's weaker strength, she managed to hold her own due to the terrifying power of the sacred flame. I'm not insane. If you get a chance, ask your husband Xiao Yan why I'm doing this. But I doubt you'll get that chance. Take this. Mu Yingying, consumed by destructive sacred flame energy, launched another attack at Kai Lin without hesitation. Seems like she's lost her mind. Better deal with her before the Xinling royal family's forces arrive, Kai Lin thought. Her eyes flickered, speaking to herself. No sooner had she finished speaking than a mysterious force of 10 colors emerged from her graceful form. Witnessing this, Mu Yingying's expression turned peculiar. 10-colored heaven-swallowing python's power, Mu Yingying murmured, recognizing the sheer might of such a behemoth. Power of the 10 colors. 1 color heaven sealing. Suppress her. Kai Lin unleashed the 10 colors power, aiming them at Mu Yingying. She ensured the force was not destructive, simply intending to subdue rather than harm significantly. Suppress me? Mu Yingying smirked as the unstoppable power of the 10 colors bore down on her. Sacred flame power. Sacred flame burst? Yelled Mu Yingying, and radiant azure flames exploded before her, transforming into searing rings that engulfed the 10-colored power. This one. Kai Lin frowned. Were it not for her suspicion of ties with Xiao Yan, Kai Lin, with her past temperament as Medusa Queen, would have ended it long ago. Medusa Queen. Xiao Yan's harm to me. I'll start repaying it by taking some interest from you. Mu Yingying glared at Kai Lin, as an intense murderous intent surfaced. No. She is Xiao Yan's wife. I can't. Just as the azure glow on Mu Yingying was about to strike, the blue abruptly vanished, and a faint voice said, Have you forgotten how he treated you? Is this worth it? The blue hue returned to her body, her tone turning stern with doubt. As long as he's all right, I have no regrets. Startled by the severe tone, the azure glow on Mu Yingying gradually faded as she weakly spoke. Sigh. Listening to the spirit of the sacred flame express such sentiments, the spirit's power also began to dissipate, leaving behind a somewhat forlorn sound. Thud. Having done all this, Mu Yingying grew weak and directly leapt down towards the desert below. Crunch. Kai Lin hurriedly caught her, a gentle power continuously flowing into her. Indeed, such a good woman is truly deserving of him. Mu Yingying, observing Kai Lin's care, murmured one last sentence before closing her eyes completely. Clearly, using the spirit of the sacred flame twice had been too much for her. This girl, I wonder what Xiao Yan has gotten himself into again. Once I understand this matter regarding the Medusa clan, I will definitely question him thoroughly. Kai Lin, gathering some implied meanings from Mu Yingying's words, declared. For now, We'd better head back to the territory. Kai Lin, holding Mu Yingying, prepared to depart for the Medusa clan's territory. But just at that moment, darkness abruptly surged in the sky above the desert where Kai Lin stood. From within the darkness, waves of extremely evil power slowly emerged. An array? Evil power from the extraterritorial evil clan? As soon as the darkness appeared, Kai Lin realized something was wrong, but it was clearly too late to escape now. Hehe, Queen Medusa. This time, you won't escape so easily. As the darkness enveloped the area, a rather familiar voice echoed in the black space. The Yingying King. Kai Lin murmured, biting her lips slightly. Queen Medusa, you'd better surrender willingly. That way, you can avoid some pain. The Yingying King, with an emperor's aura, stood high above in the dark space, addressing Kai Lin below. Beside him were two figures concealed by black cloaks. One of the figures shook slightly when they saw the silhouette in Kai Lin's embrace, though the Yingying King did not notice. Damn it! We're too far from the Medusa clan's territory. They surely won't arrive in time. This is troublesome. Kai Lin's beautiful face finally showed a trace of distress. If it was just her, escaping this dark array wouldn't be difficult. But she wasn't alone now. She was carrying someone else, and the presence of one of the two figures beside the Yingying King was enough to alarm Kai Lin. Dark bats, come forth. The Yingying King, seeing there was no reaction from his companions, wasted no time and ordered from within the darkness. As soon as the Yingying King's voice dropped, myriad bats, emitting strange evil auras, burst from the darkness, rushing at Kai Lin. Power of the 10 colors. Spatial shift. Kai Lin knew she couldn't win in a direct confrontation, so she attempted to escape using spatial abilities. Freeze. Just as the 10-colored power surged within Kai Lin, one of the cloaked figures beside the Yingying King stepped forward, and an authoritative voice boomed throughout the space. 2-star Do Xian. Witnessing her painstakingly crafted escape shattered with a single word, Kai Lin exclaimed in surprise. In the next moment, both Kai Lin and Mu Yingying were engulfed by the dark bats. As they were enveloped, both women's powers rapidly diminished, clearly indicating the dark bat's ability to imprison strength. Ha ha ha. 10-colored heaven swallowing python. 2 blossoms of sacred flame. Let's go. Triumphant over capturing the two women effortlessly, the Yingying King's face lit up with joy before he vanished. After capturing Mu Yingying and Kai Lin, the Yingying King wasted no time in rushing back to the Yingying Royal Palace. Upon his return, nearly the entire Yingying Royal Guard was tense, deploying forces around the palace. On the other side, Xiao Yin still remained within the territory of the Medusa clan, focused on concocting the Rising Sun pill. However, as two powers began their actions, the entire Mystic 3 Heaven's other major sects grew exceedingly tense. At the headquarters of the Incense Pavilion, the atmosphere was unlike before. Disciples were nowhere to be seen, and the air was thick with tension and oppression. Since the conclusion of the sect competition and the withdrawal of Xiao Yin and immortal fairy Mu Yingying from the sect, an unbearable pressure weighed upon the disciples. At that moment, significant figures who could shake the Mystic 3 Heavens slowly made their way to the Incense Pavilion's headquarters meeting room. The people from the ancient Desolation Palace and 10,000 Swords sect have arrived. High above, protecting the Incense Pavilion, were Zhu Jin, Bai Ye, and other high-ranking members, seemingly awaiting something. Powerful figures with overwhelming auras steadily arrived in the domain of Scorched Heavens. Zhu Jin, is it? Why isn't Scorched Heaven here? Space distorted as two powerful figures appeared. One of them, with a sword on his back and a wine gourd at his waist, glanced at Zhu Jin and asked lazily, "Hehe. The Lord had urgent matters and hasn't returned yet, so I'll be acting on his behalf," Zhu Jin replied. Winesword Immortal of 10,000 Swords Sect and Palace Master Huang Li of Ancient Desolation Palace, please, come inside. You are all we were waiting for, Zhu Jin added with a smile. I see. Let's go, the Winesword Immortal said, taking a swig from his gourd before heading alongside Palace Master Huang Li towards the meeting room. If the rumors about the Yingying royal family's collusion with the extraterritorial evil clan were true, the family might indeed be eradicated from the mystic three heavens this time. Zhu Jin and others followed, but by the time they reached the meeting room, the discussions were already heated. What disgrace has the Yingying royal family become, daring to openly collude with the extraterritorial evil clan? Have they forgotten the devastation our great thousand worlds suffered in the previous invasion? A furious man stood up, voicing his anger. Hanging from his body was a small puppet, intricately detailed and lifelike like a real human. Hee. Puppet Manor Lord, please calm down. Let's wait for everyone to arrive before we proceed. The two women seated beside the head of the table spoke simultaneously to placate the Puppet Manor Lord. Myriad Flowers Pavilion Master, Poison Sect Master, the Puppet Manor Lord acknowledged, seating himself reluctantly. He knew well he could not challenge the prowess of these two women. The hostility between Myriad Flowers Pavilion, Incense Pavilion, and Poison Sect had significantly eased since Scorched Heaven emerged. They've arrived, the Puppet Manor Lord remarked as four formidable figures slowly entered the meeting room. Is everyone here? Zhu Jin asked, eyeing the powerhouses from various sects. Elder Zhu, the Yingying royal family matter is urgent. Even after sending out signals inviting all major sects of the mystic three heavens, only these have responded. Mu Shuzi stepped forward and explained. The sects in attendance are Puppet Manor, Ancient Desolation Palace, 10,000 Swords Sect, Pill Valley, Purgatory Hall, Myriad Flowers Pavilion, and Poison Sect. Zhu Jin listed off. The deeds of the Yingying royal family are evident to disciples everywhere. Those sects unwilling to speak up might be acting out of selfishness. Even if the allegations are true, the power and heritage of the Yingying royal family cannot be underestimated. An all-out conflict would bring terrifying casualties to their disciples, Zhu Jin stated, his disdain clear. This speaker was Yi Qingtian, the current head of Pill Valley. Despite being at the mid-one-star Do Xian level, his formidable status as a fourth-rank immortal alchemist commanded respect, even from those at the perfect one-star Do Xian level. Pill Demon Yi Qingtian, do you have any insights? Wine Sword Immortal asked, his eyes narrowing. A war backed by Pill Demon could be a certainty, given Pill Valley's unparalleled wealth. Combining the strength of our 8 sects to destroy the Yingying royal family, boomed Yi Qingtian, exuding authority. As these words were spoken, the entire meeting room fell silent, everyone collectively taken aback. Let's not even discuss other things. Just the pills needed for battle could amount to an astronomical figure. Not to mention, at the level of Do Xian, the pills required are even more precious. Since Pill Demon has laid things bare, I will also be frank. The reason for gathering everyone here is precisely for this matter. During the sect tournament in the Blood River Expanse, I believe many sect disciples detected the aura of the extraterritorial evil clan among the Yingying royalty's disciples. If it were only 1 or 2, that'd be understandable, but such large numbers likely implicate the Yingying royalty directly. And the greed and malevolence of the extraterritorial evil clan are well known to all of you, Elder Zhu spoke gently. The reason Elder Zhu gathered the powerful figures of the 7 great sects was due to their ancestral grievances with the extraterritorial evil clan from past world battles. And rest assured, the Yingying King and other formidable opponents will naturally be dealt with by our pavilion master, Elder Zhu reassured, sensing the doubt among the attending experts. If the Yingying royalty's disciples can have their abilities surge through the evil clan's power, then perhaps the leadership of the Yingying royalty is also. Despite Elder Zhu's assertion, the members of Purgatory Hall remain skeptical. The Pavilion Master has already advanced, so you all can rest assured. And our Incense Pavilion's grudge against the Yingying royalty is not a matter of just 1 or 2 days, Elder Zhu reiterated. Given this, we will naturally commit all our strength, nodded the experts of the other sects, buoyed by the assurance Elder Zhu provided, and also bolstered by the strong backing of the 10,000 Swords Sect and Pill Valley. All right, then return and prepare your sections. 5 days from now, lead the elite of your sects to form the Demon Annihilation Alliance Army and jointly oppose the Yingying royalty, they all said in unison. Following the incense pavilion's urgent assembly of formidable figures, the atmosphere throughout the mystic three heavens tensed considerably. Zhu, what about burning heaven? After the experts of the other 5 sects had left, the pavilion master of Myriad Flowers Pavilion and the poison sect master stayed back to inquire of Elder Zhu, given their favorable relations with burning heaven. The pavilion master departed as soon as the sect tournament began. No one knows where he went. Otherwise, given the pavilion master's disposition, he would definitely have shown himself when Xiaoyin left the sect, Elder Zhu replied, slightly puzzled. Burning Heaven seemed to have an agreement with Xiaoyin, and since Xiaoyin rescued Yin Fudong, it didn't make sense for Burning Heaven to do nothing. I don't know why, but I've been inexplicably unsettled lately. I hope it's just my imagination, remarked the Myriad Flowers Pavilion master before leaving, confident that the 2-star Do Xian strength of Burning Heaven could hardly find an equal within the mystic three heavens, thus not worrying excessively. When Burning Heaven returns, be sure to notify me immediately, stated the poison sect master coldly before departing as well. As for the Xianling royalty, in 5 days, let's resolve the grievances of these years once and for all, murmured Elder Zhu while gazing into the distance, before returning to his tasks. Meanwhile, in Xianling City. Hey, have you heard the news? It seems the Xianling royalty has incurred some trouble, prompting the super sects of the mystic three heavens to ally against them, discussed patrons in hushed voices within a bustling inn. Haha, you all seem pretty clueless. Let me enlighten you. Rumor has it that the Xianling royalty secretly allied with the extraterritorial evil clan to conquer the Xianling continent, which the other super sects couldn't tolerate, hence they decided to unite. Someone boasted proudly. The extraterritorial evil clan? What is that? Someone inquired curiously. Well, how should I explain this? The extraterritorial evil clan is extremely wicked, despised by all humans. Ever since the Xianling royalty dared to engage with them, they should have foreseen the consequences. Let's see how the Xianling royalty handles this. The whispers spread, and soon everyone passing through was aware, rendering the populace of Xianling City wary of the royalty, fearing they might eat them alive. Not far from Xianling City, in the Xianling Royal Palace. My king, it's urgent, a hasty voice declared outside the palace. Like a bolt of lightning, a figure dashed through the grand gates, rushing towards the Xianling king. What's the matter? Why such a fuss? The Xianling king inquired, his brow furrowed, sounding irritated. The Demon Annihilation Alliance, consisting of the Incense Pavilion, Myriad Flowers Pavilion, Poison Sect, 10,000 Sword Sect, Ancient Desolation Palace, Pill Valley, Purgatory Hall, and Puppet Manor, will launch a full-scale attack on the Xianling royal family in 5 days. The figure spoke urgently, his voice filled with fear. Despite the vast power of the Xianling royal family, it is likely impossible to escape death against the combined forces of these 8 super sects. I understand, you may leave, said the Xianling king with a calm voice, seemingly having anticipated this situation without a trace of panic. Proceed with the original plan. But my king, aren't the costs too high for this course of action? The spy questioned. One must sacrifice to gain, responded the Xianling king. It's called casting a long line to catch a big fish. I didn't expect the Incense Pavilion to be the first to strike. Perhaps we exposed too much in the Blood River expanse. But it doesn't matter now. I have already consumed the Blood Demon Envoy, and his remnants should be useful. Send the order, he continued. Invite the leaders of all super sects in Mystic Three Heavens to hold the Demon Annihilation Ceremony in 5 days at Xianling Mountain. Let the lives of Blood Demon's remaining powerhouses become the key to opening a new world for me. On that day, all the mighty forces of Mystic Three Heavens will witness that glorious moment. The Xianling king laughed maniacally. Understood, the spy replied and promptly left. With a soft thud, 2 figures appeared beside the Xianling king, Xian, Song, and Yin Qi. The power of the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python shouldn't be underestimated, but I've temporarily suppressed it, Xian Song reported. Yin Qi added, additionally, the sacred flame has quieted down, hidden within Xianling Mountain. When the time is right, it can be devoured. Very good. The Xianling king laughed once more. Yinchi, there's another task for you. My king, please instruct, Yinchi responded. Go to the dungeon, capture the remaining strong blood demons, and seal them at Yingying Mountain. In 5 days, I will invite countless super sect powerhouses from Mystic 3 Heavens to annihilate the blood demon completely, the Yingying king ordered. Understood. Yinchi immediately took action, complying without hesitation. My king, your strategy is truly ingenious, said Wenzi, the national advisor, as he presented a sphere. This is the soul sphere, containing the soul forces of all our Yingying royal family powerhouses. With this, we are undefeatable, capable of controlling even those who dare to betray. Secretly, the extraterritorial evil clan had planted blood curses within the Yingying royal family. Without the covert help of the Yingying king, it would not have been possible. Some naive, strong individuals mistook these as beneficial. Wenzi, you have assisted me many times. After this succeeds, I will not let you down. The Yingying king's laughter filled the room as he reflected on the blood demon envoy's failed attempt to control Yingying continent through him, only to be countered instead. By the way, my king, there's something else, Wenzi recalled. The Soul Clan has sent another Dosian powerhouse, possibly intending to attack us. Do you have their coordinates? The Yingying king asked sternly. Yes, replied Wenzi. Shinsong, you go this time. Leave no one from the Soul Clan or Solomon. The Yingying king commanded with a murderous intent after hearing Wenzi's words. Understood, master, Shinsong acknowledged before disappearing in a flash. Now, spread the word about the demon annihilation ceremony. In 5 days, Mystic 3 Heavens will embark on a new world, proclaimed the Yingying king, grasping the soul sphere with a greed that bordered on demonic. With the 8 super sects Demon Annihilation Alliance and the Yingying royal family's impending ceremony, the situation in Mystic 3 Heavens became tumultuous and tense. Amid the desolate death desert in the territory of the Medusa clan, Xiao Yin was in a secluded chamber, panting. This rising sun pill sure isn't easy to refine, he remarked, admiring the dragon eye-sized pill in his hand with a smile. His alchemical skills had significantly improved with the surge in his soul power, leading to his successful refinement of the high-grade rising sun pill. Now everything is ready for devouring the sacred flame. I'm just not sure to what extent my strength and the burning resolution will skyrocket after devouring the sacred flame, Xiao Yin said as he put away the rising sun pill. Yet, Xiao Yin was puzzled. The ghost-faced soul flame couldn't be devoured, only used, leaving him no choice but to swallow the sacred flame to gain power. Sigh, forget it, I should just leave first. By my count, about a month should have passed, Xiao Yin said, getting up and heading towards the secret chamber. As Xiao Yin stepped out, a snake-like figure suddenly appeared without a sound. Hee, has little brother Xiao Yin finally emerged? Who's there? Xiao Yin asked, startled, given the formidable strength suggested by the way the voice came from nowhere. It's me. As Xiao Yin spoke, the shadowy figure gradually stepped out. Senior Serpent King? Xiao Yin asked respectfully. The Serpent King and Shifu were Kai Lin's trusted aides and had helped him greatly. It's good you're out. Time flows slowly inside the chamber. Only about 3 days have actually passed, the Serpent King chuckled. All right, Xiao Yin replied with a smile. Let's go. Some familiar faces are waiting to see you. The Serpent King noted Xiao Yan's injuries had healed. Lead the way, senior, Xiao Yin said without hesitation. Let's go, the Serpent King said, signaling for Xiao Yin to follow him. Medusa Tribe's Crystal Palace. Mu Suzi? What brings you to the Medusa Tribe's territory? The aged figure of Mu Suzi slowly appeared. I'm here for 2 reasons. One concerning our pavilion lord and the other concerning Xiao Yin. Mu Suzi replied calmly. Ha ha ha, what a joke. Mylan, another snake person, laughed. Xiao Yin has left your incense pavilion. What business do you still have with him? Also, why would someone with scorched heaven's strength show up in the Medusa tribe? You can't speak like that, Mu Suzi objected firmly. Everyone quiet, said Shifu. Mu Suzi, explain your purpose here. The Medusa tribe and Incense Pavilion had a strong relationship. Several times, the ruling Yingying had tried to exterminate the Medusa tribe, only to be thwarted thanks to the Incense Pavilion's help. Palace Master Mu? As Mu Suzi was about to speak, a familiar voice interrupted. Xiao Yin? I'm glad you're all right, Mu Suzi said, visibly relieved to see Xiao Yin. The departure of Xiao Yin from the sect had left Mu Suzi feeling somewhat guilty. About what happened back then, Mu Suzi began. Palace Master Mu, I understand. It's all right, Xiao Yin said with a carefree smile. He knew that given the circumstances, the Incense Pavilion couldn't have acted without risking a costly war between the sects. Now that everyone is here, let's discuss the matter at hand, Shifu stated as Xiao Yin joined them. The Crystal Palace was filled with a preternatural calm as the powerful figures nodded in agreement. What's happening? Xiao Yin asked, unaware of the events during his seclusion. I'll explain, Mu Suzi said. As you know, in 2 days, the Xinling royal family will hold the demon annihilation ceremony. That damn Xinling royal family is clearly conspiring with the extraterritorial evil clan, yet now they use them as a scapegoat. Truly, who knows what they're up to? Mobile muttered angrily. Elder Serpent, what's your take? Mu Suzi asked amidst the grumbling about the Xinling royal family. They likely don't want to become enemies of the mystic three heavens. Whether they've colluded with the extraterritorial evil clan aside, they undeniably possess the clan's power. That might have bolstered their strength to a new level. I suspect they're using the clan's sacrifice as a cover for an even more powerful strategy they've found. Therefore, this demon annihilation ceremony is likely a trap, a dragon's den not easily entered, Shifu analyzed. Our Incense Pavilion has formed an 8-sect demon annihilation alliance. At the ceremony, we'll capture them all in one swoop, Mu Suzi declared firmly. It's too risky. Aside from the Myriad Flowers Pavilion and the Poison Sect, we can't fully trust the other 5 sections. If the Xuanling's power proves too overpowering, they might withdraw when it's most critical. At that time, you'll find yourselves at the end of your tether, Shifu stated bluntly. Those with a deep-seated vendetta against the Xinling royalty now only include our 2 factions, along with the Myriad Flowers Pavilion and Poison Sect. In the end, it might just be a decisive battle between us. Shifu shook his head, clearly not placing much trust in the other sects. That makes sense. Mu Suzi initially wanted to argue, but upon reflection, he realized that the other 5 sects didn't have as deep a grudge against the Xinling royalty. When survival hangs in the balance, they might only be concerned about their own safety. Therefore, this time in the demon annihilation operation, we of the Medusa clan will commit all our forces. You should head back first. Once we've organized our clan strength, in 2 days, we will wage the final battle at Xinling Mountain, Shifu stated clearly, expressing his stance. If that's the case, then I thank you on behalf of our pavilion master, Mu Suzi said. Palace Master Mu, I'll return with you. I haven't properly bid farewell to my fellow brothers and sisters yet,